Travis Wayne Goodsell. I'm trying to calm down after the news that I just uploaded for you guys on YouTube. And I'm trying to give myself some comfort drinks. Not sponsored. I'm not paid for advertising. Alright, in case you don't know, because you're coming to this video for the first time in all eternity, I'm Travis Wayne Goodsell. I'm born and raised Mormon. Faithful, devoted, paid the protection money of tithing, and served an LDS mission to New York, New York, was a Boy Scout, Eagle Scout, seminary, early morning seminary graduate. Went to RICS and graduated with an associate in religious Mormon studies. None of my credits qualified elsewhere. Unbelievable. I went to Institute at the university that I was at. Pursued ancient biblical studies and languages and cultures, and deciphered Paleo-Hebrew, deciphered Egyptian petroglyphs, all because of the church, and discovered that the Bible was indeed missing precious parts of the Bible, as told in the Book of Mormon, as I learned that the petroglyphs that I deciphered were the missing parts in the Bible, as I recognized the other Bible stories that are in there came from the petroglyphs. And as a result, there's the missing stuff then too. And so when I came to Utah, my first wife abandons the marriage, ducks the kids, steals my research. I just deciphered it in February, and she up and runs away in April of 1997. And then flees to a foreign enemy of America that burned the White House down, according to Trump, in 1818. Or 1812, sorry. The War of 1812. And so I had to reconstruct my whole research with the tax refund that year, which, since she bailed, screw you, this is all mine, I need to get a new computer now. And so then went to the church and said, hey, I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. Is there anything more that Joseph Smith had said about translations? And they secretly blacklisted me. 36434. If you saw that video where I show my discovery, as the church submitted their file on me, their blacklist file, to have me disappeared, not put on trial, disappeared. They had no intention of having me go through a trial. I committed no crime. And they disappeared me using the justice system of Utah. And I got out. Wasn't supposed to, but I got out. Just in time for the end of the world. Yay! And the church still won't leave me alone as I pursued publishing all of the research that I had done before I disappeared and the new stuff that I was developing. Along with, hey, there's like actual signs in the heavens of the last days. They're actually correct. So, yeah, the church was unhappy about that. I got booted out of Bishop Reed Hammond's ward. And I said, all right, fine. I'm going to figure out church history, find out what's going on here. Why is the church attacking me? Why are they wanting me destroyed? Literally murdered. They tried to murder me. With the disappearance, they tried to murder me. I've had to go to the emergency room on a couple of occasions, and I've done my DNA. I have superior genes. And so, yeah, it's because of my translation abilities. I, for some reason or another, which came from study, research. That's all it takes? It doesn't take rising up the corporate ladder of the church to receive the keys? Didn't require the laying on of hands? And so, yeah, the church is pissed. They're furious that I could expose them. And so I had enough. I caught them with the disappearance, and so, yeah, I filed a lawsuit back on 30th of September 2019. And all hell broke loose as the church continued to escalate their crimes against me. Their investments on certain computer sites and social media sites on the internet. And that's why I'm not so well known to you guys. And they're on a full-on mission to shut me down, murder me. And they're using Mormons to do this, because the church can't be connected with it. And so that's why the church, having been caught by me, paying the person who had me disappeared back in 2008, tried to cover it up, to show, hey, we're not paying this person, I don't know what he's done. And so, yeah, I filed. And the judge in the case had been fired previous to getting assigned to my case. She got fired. She's quitting at the end of April. And her caseload was being taken away from her that was foreseen to last longer than April. And yet they assigned her a new case, mine, purposely to cause a delay. Violating their own federal laws for court procedure and process. And so I was stuck. I mean, clearly the judge is in violation of federal law and is committing a crime by protecting and defending the corporation of the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the defendant. And so there's nothing I could do, because nobody's going to take the judge to court. What are they going to do? Fire her? And so I'm like stuck, wondering what I'm going to do. And I tried to pursue the law. Say, okay, the judge is refusing to do her job, which means she's acting on behalf of the defense counsel. So she accepted the service of process. Therefore, because she's refusing to respond to the motion to recuse and the summary judgment, she's an entry of default. I win. Technically, I have. I've proven my case because of the corruption that's going on to protect the church. But again, if you're not having a judge to respond, nobody will proceed to seize and seize the forfeited assets of the church. They want a judge's order to justify it, because we're talking into the trillions. We only found out about one of the investment companies, Ensign Peak Associates. There are others. For example, the church uses Zion's Bank. There are others. The church launders money through Deutsche Bank, as we found out from the other filings of the investments through Ensign Peak Associates. The 40 billion in investments through them alone. There are other investments through the other companies. And Ensign Peak was a huge one. Whole long list. And I did those videos, but nobody is responding, nobody will do anything. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe I have to serve the church myself. Even though the judge is in violation of the law, she was supposed to give the order, and she's not, so I'm going to have to figure out some way to come up with the money to do it. I'm sorry, but I need to survive and eat. So I tried the GoFundMe thing recently, and then tried to find out how many times I'm going to have to keep serving the church for each motion thereafter, and found rule number 4 on summons. Rule number 4 lays it all out. For D, waiving service. And I didn't fully understand it, but this time I decided to take a closer look and see what it was referring to, because I thought it was the church that gets to waive service as a defendant. But no, it's actually my getting to serve the church directly, because normal process, no, I can't. I've got to stay far away from them. I've got to have somebody else serve, which is why I thought I had to pay for it. But Rule 4D is the exception. So for a corporation under H, D41H or D4H, or not D4H, Rule 4H deals with corporations. And so all I have to do is the waiver, I have to have 2 copies of the summons and the waiver with it. And this is the federal form for the waiver. And address it to Curtin McConkie legal firm, and send it through the United States Postal Service. So here's the letter for it to send through the U.S. Postal Service, and then I have to have a self-addressed return envelope, stamped envelope, for them to submit one of the waivers back to me to confirm that they got it and they're saying yes, because they don't get to claim the good cause that they're a religion and therefore they can't be sued. That specifically states in the law under Rule 4 and the other areas of what good cause is and isn't. The only good cause would be that it's the wrong people to be sued, which you think, well, yeah, they're a religion, they can't be sued. No. I'm talking about the wrong corporation. You know, Jehovah's Witnesses. Oops, I sent it to the wrong religion. Or that it's the wrong courthouse jurisdiction. They don't have a good cause to reject this. And if they don't respond, it says 30 days on the summons, the rules, but then they have 60 days on this paper. That pisses me off, because it's supposed to be 30. It's already frustrating enough as it is. And so, yeah, here's the lawsuit. So it's all ready to go. I mean, it's thick. See, look at all these pages. Thick. So many counts, and this is just against me. just against me. And we're talking treason, war crimes. Remember, I was disappeared. You don't just disappear someone and say, oh, whoops, it was a mistake. We're just mortals. It was an accident. No. And RICO and bigamy. And yes, Utah is now trying to lessen the charge for bigamy counts. Sorry guys, this is federal law, not state law. You can change it at the state level all you want. It's not going to protect the church from this federal lawsuit, civil lawsuit. Because as a civil lawsuit rather than criminal, the church does not go to prison. They're supposed to be filed for criminal charges after I win the civil case, though. But, you know, if you got a Mormon in place of the Utah Attorney General's office for the United States, not the Utah Attorney General, but the United States Attorney General for the state of Utah, it's a little bit difficult as a conflict of interest for him to say, well, you know, I've given loyalty oaths at conference and in the temple, and I pay the protection money to the church. Who do I choose to serve, America or the church? And thus is the problem in Utah. So, yeah, it's going to be filed tomorrow. If I go in now, after I finish filling it out, it won't go out till tomorrow anyway. So, I'll just go in the morning. And so this has been a long, drawn-out, unnecessarily drawn-out journey to try to get the church to just leave me alone. And they just won't. They're like laymen. I have to control you. You are under my control. You will obey and comply, and we will control you and your agency. It's just unbelievable. And so, yes, I've been an LDS critic on this channel, on the website, which the church had shut down through their invested company that took over my website. And on the other channel on YouTube, which got shut down by the church, having invested in Google, which owns YouTube. The church wants me destroyed, and they can't just outright blow me away on Fifth Avenue. They have to figure out some legal way, if there is such a thing, and there isn't. Oh, what a nightmare. So, yeah. Okay, so there you go. You're all caught up now. The lawsuit is 219 CV 00711. I'll try to remember to post the link for you of the docket. Yeah, Clark Waddups is the main judge. Judge First is the magistrate judge who got fired. And so Clark, we know he's a Mormon. And the other Judge First, she's from North Carolina, may or may not be Mormon. I can't find out. But clearly, by allowing Gaddy v. COP, she got fired. So, yeah. But the church is going to be served. This is an official serving. Tomorrow is the date when I hand it over to the United States Postal Service, which officers are of the federal government because it's in the Constitution. And so every postal service officer is a federal officer. And by handing it to them, it's an officially stamped, dated, and so I don't need to do anything more than first class, as it says here. So, but then 60 days, they're going to take the full time, you know that. So they don't interrupt conference, even though the coronavirus will most likely interrupt conference. But you will know the church got served. And I keep meaning to read all of this for you, but it's going to be hours and hours. See, if you saw that, see this? Full pages of information here. Full pages. There's like 72 or I don't know how many. Maybe that's the number of counts. But I mean, I'm trying to warn people, warn Mormons, the church is bad, get out while you can, trying to correct the bad information that those who leave the church are under the impression of. They think that Joseph Smith was the bad guy, that the whole church was bad from the beginning, and the church is now, just saying, oh, but we've changed. It's not the same religion. We don't believe in that magical stuff of looking into a hat. They lied the whole time, guys, and we can't trust them. So I've been trying to correct the history for you. I'm trying to correct the doctrine for you, trying to correct who's to blame, and it's Brigham Young. But church got served. You've been served. So I don't need to walk into their office. I can have a federal officer other than the U.S. Marshals, and it can be the postman. Mr. Postman! Postman always rings twice,